Hello, my name's Karen Betts and I'm a Year 6 teacher at Whitfield Aspen School. I'll be briefly taking you through how we have used the recovery curriculum's 5 levers to help plan for the return of Year 6 pupils after 11 weeks of school closure due to the COVID-19 lockdown. We have 2 forms in Year 6 and initially we had 34 pupils returning out of 53. We had to group them into bubbles of about 11 or 12, but this meant that some pupils would not have the same teacher they started the year with. We placed the most emotionally vulnerable and their wider friendship groups in their original classes, leaving 13 children in a mixed bubble with the Year 5 teacher whom they were familiar with. After SLT shared the recovery curriculum's core concepts with us, we knew that messages coming from the media at that current time might cause conflict, as they were encouraging a culture of catch-up and pressurising the need to return to school with a focus on boosting academic levels, rather than building confidence and renewing relationships. A parent version of the recovery curriculum was written and shared on our website. I'll now briefly take you through some of the practical ways we implemented each of the 5 levers. Lever 1, relationships. It says we will not necessarily expect our children to return joyfully. Many of the relationships that were thriving, such as with friends, teachers, supporting adults, may need to be invested in and restored. We will plan for this to happen, not assume that it will. Firstly, we gave children a gentle start. There was no mention of who had or had not taken part in the home learning tasks. The main thing was that they were back in school where they needed to be. The safety rules were given in a way to not cause fear, and time to just catch up were given. Chat zones were set up in our outside area so that socially distanced conversations could take place across the barriers separating the bubbles, thus helping children to recover from the loss of peer interaction. Teachers were involved too, especially making time to talk with class members who had been separated from them. We made playtimes as long as they needed to be to start with. PSHE sessions were timetabled every day, covering topics such as personal identity, emotions, ways of dealing with anxiety and mental well-being. This has been great to prepare them for their transition sessions to Year 7. We also knew that it was important to include and maintain relationships with the children still learning from home. So we set up a blog and timetabled 2 weekly slots for children to respond to messages and share their learning. We wanted to ensure that home learners still felt like they belonged to the school community. Lever 2, community. It says we will recognise that your child's curriculum will have been based at home for a long time. We will listen to what has happened in this time, understanding the needs of our community and engage them in the transitioning of learning back into school. Children were given time to reflect on their time at home in lockdown. We used stimulus such as Newsround, and after many discussions, mind release pictures were created. We also celebrated their previous home learning achievements and tried to ensure children knew that their efforts at home were valued. Our resident play therapist has been taking small groups for weekly sessions, covering topics such as resilience, emotional responses to situations, and using words to build up, not tear down. Interestingly, she prepared to focus her first session on the sense of loss of their planned Year 6, the Miss Sats, the residential, the school play. However, she was surprised to find that they were more concerned with the now and how some children were no longer with their teacher and their practical concerns. However, even though there were some anxieties, the overwhelming feeling was of excitement and to be back at school. Here's a closer look of one of our ASD integrated pupils, Jack's mind release. We talked about expressing all the positive things that came out of lockdown in colourful drawings, and anything that they thought was on the negative side to be in black and white. And it was interesting, there weren't many black and white drawings that were coming through. I don't know if that was through them being nervous of sharing it at that time, But I just thought this was great to share because he's thought of things even like his dad turning 45, his cat sadly dying, he's watching The Simpsons, there's 100 on an old man there, Captain Tom turning 100, no McDonald's, no flying, all the television programmes he's watched. So it's just a great way of releasing things without having to verbalise it at that time. Okay, lever 3, transparent curriculum. And it says the children may well feel that they have lost time with their learning at school, and we want to show them that we understand this and that we will help them to become confident learners at school. On the first day, we used this slide as a way of preparing pupils for what they could expect over the next 6 weeks. It was also shared on the website for the parents to go through with their children before they returned. Life was now different to what past Year 6 pupils had experienced. However, this was their chance to use their growth mindset to adapt and enjoy their last term of primary school. On the whole, there's been a buzz in the air. The children have been busily learning in an active and meaningful way. And here's the array of things we've been doing, especially the transition to secondary school, really giving them time to absorb the new things that will come their way. We've studied a great book, There's a Boy in the Girls' Bathroom, which has gone through a character's emotions, and that's been really good, thinking about what they're going to come across in the future, their own anxieties and emotions, or those of children they're meeting in their new school. And we gave them lots to focus on to look forward to. We will have a water fight and an open air disco instead of the usual inside disco, and whatever we do, it will be special for them. Lever 4, metacognition. In different environments, children will have been learning in different ways and may have developed different styles of learning. It is vital that we acknowledge this. So we were aware that some children struggled to learn at home. They were missing the familiar structure of a school day and were having to actively seek out their lessons through online portals, where one task without a teacher explanation could seem impossible. And I have 3 school-age children, and I know exactly how they were feeling at home. So a freer and unpressurised timetable let us strike a careful balance of tasks, in contrast to the fast-paced school day they left behind in March. By allowing our pupils to lead their learning through project-based learning tasks, they have been active learners who have taken ownership and pride in their new learning. Being coupled with short and targeted literacy and maths lessons, this has enabled them to gain confidence in preparations for secondary school, but in a supported environment. And the final lever, number 5, space. It is only natural that we all work at an incredible pace to make sure this group of learners are not disadvantaged against their peers, providing opportunity and exploration alongside the intensity of our expectations. So as each bubble has their own specific play area now, we have been able to be responsive to the children's emotional needs, sometimes extending playtimes and adding in mid-afternoon breaks. Weekly forest school sessions have created a learning environment where children have felt at ease. Lots of learning opportunities have been given, but with multiple ways of achieving positive outcomes. We have also reassured pupils that they will be ready academically for Key Stage 3 and have introduced more challenging concepts, such as algebra, but in bite-sized pieces. Due to smaller class sizes, we have found that previously quiet children are now engaging in conversations with adults and opening up about emotions felt during their time away from school. As a result, we feel that our children have grown over the past 5 weeks and are mostly ready to embark with their future learning. So, to conclude, the overriding principle which we feel has helped the successes of using the recovery curriculum so far has been relationships, those renewed, strengthened and new. We have created a safe place where children have felt supported, listened to and cherished. Now to implement it all again when the current Year 5s return to us in September. Thank you for listening. And if you'd like any more information, links to resources and websites will be at the end of this video.